Welcome to Upupa a la Casa. It's a bit strange to talk like this in front of a camera instead of a group, which I would normally have here. But well, these are the new times. I'm thinking in that case of my friends Geneviève in Paris, for instance, on her 42 square meters, or probably you guys, I don't know, locked up in San Francisco or in London or wherever you are, South Africa might be, or my friends here in Abt even, which can't move. And then I think, wow, how lucky I am to live in this kind of place, in this kind of nature, and where everything is so beautifully. So then it's my pleasure to share my knowledge about birds and bird watching in this a bit strange theoretical way for you. My name is Elske Koelstra, I'm Dutch, and I live here in this place since 2004 in the south of France, in a little place called Rustrel, close to the Colorado de Rustrel, which is on walking distance here. I'm very keen on bird watching. I did it since I was about 12, 13 years old, and I've been in bird watching groups and other nature groups and environment groups, and I learned it mostly myself or with a little bit of help of others. And usually I would, for instance, if I would go on holidays, I would take one book with me, and others, they would take a reading book. I just take my book with for bird watching, and that would do. And so little by little I got at my knowledge. And birds and cats, they go very well together. That's what Sophie is showing you here. I lost my text about all this. I started the Upupa activity back in 2013, where I would stroll with little groups here going through the Colorado. So people from all nationalities would come here, and mostly on Thursday mornings, every Thursday would come around, and we would observe birds, observed by the eye, helped with binoculars, and the ear, just helped by me, basically, to explain how and what. You can recognize birds by their song. And on these walks we would observe, I must say, between 30-35 species in the high season, and of that there would be probably 8 to 10 by the eye, and where you would see their colors and really see the birds, and all the other species you would recognize by the ear, by the sound. So therefore it's very interesting I think to learn more and more about birds, and especially I want to emphasize in this series about how to recognize them by their songs. What people say after they come back from this walk, they often say, wow, I never knew there were so many birds. Or because I asked before and then afterwards, how much species would you think you will see, or how much do you think we have seen? And we start counting them, and then when we end up at 35, they go, wow. And they also say, well, I didn't know that you could recognize them really by their song, or how beautiful they are. If you see them by the binocular, you see really the colors, and they in all their splendor. It's really a beautiful thing, right? What I would talk about in this series, we'll see where it brings us to, because it's quite improvised. It is to talk a bit about the behavior of birds, like why do they sing, or why do they make nest, how is the nest making going, these kind of things, of why do they migrate, generalities about bird species, more in particular, like you would have the birds of song, like this series, usually in the garden, so the most common birds of the garden, or the birds of prey. It's another big family where I can explain a bit. And what we would see here as birds in particularly this region would be, for instance, the golden oriole, or the nightingale, or the woodpeckers, or the bee eaters. Birds of prey like the short-toed eagle, or the royal eagle, or vultures every now and then, ospreys, and not ospreys, hawks, sparrowhawks and things like that. So there are lots of interesting birds, and what I would like to tell is a few stories about the ones you see here, but also the ones you would now at this moment see at your home, locked up in for instance Paris or wherever.